St. Paul, in this morning's first reading, describes the qualities that God desires in those who are going to serve his people, those who are going to be leaders, bishops, priests, and deacons. And the Fr Ricardo, I'm sure, never aspired to be a bishop. And he was not married only once, he was not married at all. But certainly he was a man whose life incarnates many of these very values that St. Paul said make for an ideal and perfect person who can lead the community of faith and serve the people of God. Not aggressive but gentle, not contentious, a simple man, not a lover of money, temperate, self-controlled, above all, decent, hospitable, having a good reputation even among outsiders, full of grace, basically. This was our brother Ricardo. And having been tested by life and tested by the difficulties and challenges of a ministry that he freely chose, out of love and care for the poor, Ricardo fulfilled his mission and his ministry and his vocation as a son of St. Alphonsus, as one who was truly sent to bring the good news of Jesus Christ to the poor, and especially the abandoned within and by our own church itself. Our responsorial, or our Alleluia verse of responsorial says, I will walk with a blameless heart. Well, there was no one who had a more blameless heart than our brother Ricardo. And not only a blameless heart, but an enormous heart. So that we can truly say, as we did, looking upon the gift of his life to us, those of us who had the privilege to share life with him, and to share our vocation with him, we can truly say what we said in the Alleluia verse, a great prophet has arisen in our midst. God has visited his people. And God did that by way of Ricardo, who in many, many ways was a prophet. Because the job of a prophet is to remind us who we are called to be. The task of a prophet is not to foretell the future, but to call all of us to fidelity, to our vocation, to our faith in Jesus Christ and what it requires of us. And to help us open our eyes and open our hearts to see the needs of those around us who are in pain, who are in need, who are suffering, and to open our hearts to welcome them into our hearts, as the prophet does by welcoming them into his, to do for others and to remind us that as followers of Jesus Christ, we are all called to do for others what Jesus did for the widow in today's gospel. To relieve people who are in pain. To respond to the needs of those who are in situations of great need. To actually feel with the heart of God the love that God has for his people. As I said, Ricardo's heart was great, and Ricardo's heart was true. I can't say it was always blameless. As a human being, I'm sure, there's always something. But above all, Ricardo was truly faithful. I commented to Father Pete in the sacristy. Father Ricardo never let being a redemptorist get in the way of being a redemptress. The things that we in our community life, we have to do that sometimes, can become obstacles at times, being able to fulfill the ministry that we are driven to fulfill and to respond to the needs of God's people, which are so great and so many. But Ricardo was one who always always thought first of other people, and who gave of himself without ever thinking about the cost. And he has been and will always continue to be a tremendous gift to those of us who have known him, but even more to those of us who benefited from his life of care and service to them. And so the best way that we can honor the memory of our brother, who now has, like the widow's son who Jesus raised to life and gave to his mother, has been raised by Jesus Christ to eternal life and has been presented to his mother, who we will venerate in just a few minutes following Mass today, our Mother of Perpetual Help. Jesus has today raised him to eternal life and placed him into the arms of our Mother of Perpetual Help. As we reflect upon that and remember that and honor his life and his ministry, the best way that we can do that is to rejoice. To rejoice in having received the gift of a man who showed us how to live well, how to be a true follower of Jesus Christ. Rejoicing in the knowledge that he will know only joy for all eternity, because he will rest in the arms of a loving God. So we need to hear today the voice of Jesus say to us, do not weep. Rather learn from this man. Become like him. And recognize that through him, God has visited us. And we have been very, very privileged.